What's up guys, CJ from Team Millennium Ninja back for the final time covering Lupin Part 6. And what a wild ride it has been through 24 weeks and 2 YouTube channels. But I appreciate everybody that stuck with me this far, and I plan to end this hopefully the same way that the season ends, with a bang. The episode starts off in the exact same spot where the last one ended, with the standoff between Lupin and Mateya. And just as Mateya begins her charge, she's interrupted by the cry of the 357 that we all know and love, as Jigen, Goemon, and Fujiko stand in the doorway behind Lupin, where they proceed to take over the conversation, asking Tomoe what she wants with Lupin. Goemon also holds Mateya in place, establishing that this encounter will not go like their last, which I think was a good move, to establish that last time when they fought Mateya, the only reason she got the upper hand was because she caught them off guard and they weren't going all out. That's why I'm glad they included stuff like Goemon turning his sword over last episode, otherwise this scene wouldn't have worked so well. And here we also get a back and forth between Lupin and Fujiko, where she seemingly slaps the sense back into him, only for it to turn out that Lupin is no longer brainwashed, and all this was just a little bit of theater for Tomoe in order to find the whereabouts of the box containing her connection to Lupin, which she tells him is in the vault. And I really liked the reveal here with Lupin dodging all of Fujiko's slaps. And it was pretty funny watching Fujiko's slaps get faster and more intense. She even threw a punch at one point if you pay close attention. Afterwards, we get Lupin's explanation on how he broke the mind control, and it was all thanks to the hints in his mind from the last episode, which I thought was a great bit of foreshadowing. Like the line Lupin said about cards gets recontextualized, as well as some of the characters' quotes from the last episode. We also get the reveal from Lupin that Tomoe is not actually his biological mother.
You are not the
mother.
Which I had assumed to be the case when she didn't want to show the box to the others. And having Tomoe not be his biological mother, just trying to manipulate him, is good for subverting the expectations of those who believed it, such as myself. Even if the idea of doing the same thing with her actually being his mother might be a little bit more interesting, luckily the ending is open to interpretation, so it's up to you to decide which one you liked better. And after this, Lupin also reveals that he was the one who broke into the vault for Tomoe when he was a kid, showing that he's regained all of his memories that Tomoe's tried to hide. And all this causes Tomoe to go pure maniacal, declaring that next time she'll make Lupin hers for sure. And we never really do get a full grasp on why she wants Lupin so bad in the first place. I mean, obviously it's implied that with Lupin under her control, she can do basically anything she wants to. But beyond that, she doesn't seem to have an ultimate goal or any one thing to be gained from it. Plus, she's intelligent and skilled enough to have pulled off this master plan, as well as teach people like Lupin and Mateya to have world-class abilities. So I don't see why she can't just pull off this stuff by herself. Also, she's so old at this point, I feel like her goal of, for lack of a better word, possessing Lupin is one she had when she was young and ambitious and has been so dedicated to throughout the years that it's just become an obsession at this point. So much so that she still refuses to give up on it. Or maybe she's really fooled herself into believing that he's actually her son, as she never stops calling him her son. And you might say that's because she sees all her students as her children, but she doesn't keep that up with Mateya, so I'm not inclined to think that. And speaking of Mateya, as Tomoe goes off saying that she'll obtain Lupin no matter what, Mateya sees her opportunity to strike and charges at Mateya, only to be stopped by Lupin shooting Tomoe in the chest, which causes Mateya to freak out and stab Tomoe repeatedly. Afterwards, reminding Lupin that she still intends to kill him as revenge for him being the one that caused Tomoe to rope her into this. So Lupin agrees to fight Mateya and they meet on the roof. And the fight that they have is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of early Naruto a little bit, with Mateya throwing knives and Lupin kicking up shingles to block them, and Lupin throwing shingles at Mateya and then throwing hands, giving her the old gender equality smackdown, ending with them both ultimately falling off the roof, where Lupin tries to reach Mateya, saying she could choose her own path from here on, when Pop shows up to arrest Mateya, giving us the news on what happened to Ari, saying that she's been teetering on life and death since we last saw her, but now she's regained consciousness, which is great to hear. I was really hoping Ari didn't die, and as Pop says later, it might be the only saving grace for Mateya. But before Pops arrests Mateya, Lupin asks for a moment to talk to her, which Pops allows, and all Lupin asks is for her to answer. And after she thinks back to her past where she first met Tomoe, which is really depressing by the way, she ultimately decides not to kill Lupin like she could, and goes with Zenigata. Also thinking back to the time when Lupin saved her back in the first episode of the season. And with Pops arresting Mateya, the crew heads to the vault to recover the box, with Lupin having some difficulty with the security system courtesy of Tomoe, as well as the vault itself exploding, causing the gang to hide inside the vault as it's hurled outside, and it seemed kind of reminiscent of the end of part 1, which I thought was pretty fitting. Turns out Tomoe had the box on her the whole time, and the only reason she told Lupin the vault was because she realized he had broken the mind control, ending with them burning the mansion and Lupin checking inside the box, chucking it into the fire afterward, saying that his roots would just be something to tie him down, which is the most Lupin way I could think to end this story. Though that's not the end, as during the credits we get to see what all the girls who were tutored by Tomoe are up to now. All the ones that are still alive at least, rip Hazel. We see Jigen's old doctor girlfriend doctoring. We see the fashion designer designing fashion. Although at first I thought she was decorating a Christmas tree with the way this still looked. Amelia is pregnating by the sea, which I guess means that this happened before that scene with Fujiko and her baby, I suppose. Muru is drawing and Wang is doing business stuff, I guess, on her iPad with a little I Heart Lupin sticker on it. Mate is in prison, as we know. Ari wakes up in the hospital with Yada there, which is nice. And Mercedes broke out of prison. Also, fuck Finn, I guess, because we don't get a where is she now for her, despite the fact that we spent like a whole episode with her. And so the episode ends with the crew playing cards to see who cooks dinner, with an absurd combination of hands from the other three that I don't even think is possible, while Lupin has nothing. But they're interrupted by Pops, who surrounded their building with police, chasing after them with Yada in tow, but no Ari, so it looks like she won't be returning if they do another installment, unfortunately. I would really like them to pick up from here if they do end up making another part, as I think Mate and Ari are still interesting characters that can be explored further. But we'll just have to wait for a part 7 or maybe a movie or a special for that possibility. And there's a couple things I want to mention about the ending here, like how the professor played literally no role in this episode like I had hoped, making him just a cameo for cameo's sake in the last episode. Also, I wish they had been in the apartment they were in at the beginning of the season when Zenigata chases them out, as I think it would have been a great way of symbolizing the end of this story and moving on to the next. But that'll do it for Lupin the Third Part 6. What did you guys think of the ending, and really the part as a whole? I personally felt the ending to be a little lackluster compared to how good season 2 was so far, but I still really enjoyed it nonetheless. And I'll be sure to let you guys know even more of my thoughts when I make a full part 6 review. But up next is the woman called Fujiko Mine, so make sure to subscribe for that. And until then, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been CJ from Team Millennium Ninja, headed back to the village hidden in the internet.